that's the thing. There is so then, Michael, this is the question then that's on management.
Yeah.
Yes. This is roster construction.
The team is not. Yes, the team.
Roster construction.
The team went all in on Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, right? They've held on to these assets forever, right? Forever. And the people who know the Knicks know what I'm talking about. They've held on to these trade assets forever. And there were moments in time we thought, well, it's going to be Giannis, or it's going to be Embiid at one time, or it's going to be Kevin Durant. And it turns out to be Mikal Bridges, and they make the trade for Karl Anthony Towns. And those guys are both good, but they're not good enough. This is not the nucleus of a championship team.
Just be the contrarian for a second.
Go.
And I don't even disagree with the word you said, but I'm going to be the contrarian.
Go.
The Knicks are one insane ending away from being 2-2 in this series.
That's true. Right.
Which means still home court advantage with all these flaws, Greeny, and you're right about that. But I wonder, in the case of Brunson, who's that other person? And we've got to this new question. Can Jalen Brunson be the best player on a team that actually reaches the NBA Finals? Well, he's pretty close to that now. I don't know the answer to that. And if the answer is no, then who would that person be? But they are one insane ending in game one from being 2-2. And then I don't know what conversation we're having then, or if they seem, Greeny, as flawed as we now think they are.
Well, I still think they're equally flawed. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying Josh Allen will play the greatest game of his life. His team will lose in overtime, and the conversation afterward will be Josh Allen can't win the big one. And that always makes me insane. Josh Allen was the best player on the field. He's not the reason his team didn't win. Jalen Brunson, all I'm saying is Jalen Brunson is not the reason this team isn't on its way to the NBA Finals.
Agreed.
And to your point, Jay, if he's going to, who's he giving it up to? What they need is another legitimate scoring option, and Karl Anthony Towns far too frequently isn't that. He just isn't what he looks like he should be all of the time.
Well, to all the people that say, oh, well, he's a liability on defense, I'm like, well, when you're exerting all that energy to try to score each and every possession, and then you're going through the series of Detroit and then Boston, and now you're here at this one in another dogfight, of course that's the strategy of the team. They're going to attack you to take your legs away on the offensive end.
You know this team
because there's nobody else that can create.
Remind everyone, Monica does the radio for this team, so you see them night in, night out. I'm not asking you to criticize anybody or anything like that, but you have heard it.
Yep.
You have heard the talk in this city about Jalen Brunson suddenly questioning him in a variety of different ways, and personally, I think it is insane.
Yeah, I bristle at it every time it comes up because, and listen, we all have consumed a lot of basketball. The Pacers play fast. That's the base level. The thing about the Knicks is they don't actually want to play a slow plodding style of basketball, but them trying to play at the Pacers' pace has backfired, right? And so there's this middle ground. I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson can't get off the ball or he can't make the right pass. Like, he's an excellent basketball player. But the idea that he is to be blamed on this one, I have a really hard time stomaching that, right? Like, it is a collective team effort. I mean, you could say, and look, all of these guys are accountable, and so I don't think that this is like earth-shattering to say, but you could say, all right, look, OG and Mikal, y'all were brought to get past Boston, you did that. What are we saying now that you're struggling to stop Indiana's guys? Like, I think there's a lot of conversation.
There's so little conversation about that, relatively speaking. What are the Knicks going to do? Where do they load up defensively, Jay, Monica? So looking at the number of points the Pacers put up relatively easily some nights, except for one game in the series, what is Tibbs going to do tonight? Do you jump Halliburton? Does that work? Halliburton seems to have any number of ways he can play and adjust. And it's only been a quarter in which the Knicks thwarted that in game 3. What do they do tonight?
The problem to me, Wilbon, as I've observed it, is there's just been a there has been a consistent lack of effective communication defensively. Your best defensive unit was guys that came off the bench that clearly are playing to prove their basketball career, whether they stay in a Knicks uniform or not. And so they're communicating on screens. They're making sure they're switching appropriately. They're getting into gaps in a way that you had not seen consistently from this team. It's the defense. But guess what? The defense has been a through line all season long.
Agreed. Just to tie it back to your point, Mike, because I think you're correct. I think Jalen Brunson's body is way different, and I'm somebody who's 6'2", 6'2.5", right? It's rare when you see players that size play his style of basketball that sustained his greatness throughout the course of a regular season and into the playoffs year after year after year. That's why I don't think he could be 1A. I think he could be 1A as a closer, but not 1A as somebody that keeps the Knicks knocking on the door to get back. You need to find somebody that is durable, that can play through the course of the season. The only player I know I do it is AI or Steph, but both those guys played a very different style of basketball. This is the reason to call him Big Body Brunson. Yeah. He takes hits all the time.
Like
what's the durability of that long term?
He's like a linebacker.
That's what I'm saying.
And by the way, they're worn out.
Yeah. They're so tired.
Yeah. And it's the accumulation. It goes back to the Pistons series, which was a tough series. I know neither one of those two series went 7, but they went 6. And the Boston series, and now this. You look at them, just look at them when they're sitting there in postgame. They look worn out. You know why? Because they are. There's no more of a friend who's a scout at a very high level in the NBA who says, listen, called me the other day and said, there's no more elegant basketball.
That's a word.
Okay,
that's a word.
This is just survival, and the Knicks are the ones gasping for air in this series.
So sometimes the simplest answer is the best. They've run into a better team. That's not Jalen Brunson's fault. Coming up, is this finally the year that one of these superstar quarterbacks makes it to the Super Bowl? Which one has the better chance? Will it be Josh or will it be Lamar? And will we blame them if they don't? I just added that. Plus, is the reigning offensive rookie of the year about to take a huge jump this year? We've got numbers that suggest a slump could be more likely. You'll hear them as we continue. And a reminder, get in on the playoff action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app. Sign up with the promo code GETUP to get started today.
All right. Do you guys want to do a little swap?